questions to a number of the individuals on the panel here. Judge Kelly, I think some constituents and individuals, families of the tragic children that were lost, want to know some very direct answers to some questions I'm going to ask. And I'm going to ask them for those individuals. First, Judge, are there any sirens in Kerr County along the river regarding emergency warning?
Not that I know of, but I'll defer to my emergency management coordinator.
William Thomas, Kerr County. No, sir, there are no warnings.
Right.
No sirens.
Guadalupe County has like 23 along their section of the GBRA, and I know there are several in Comfort based after disaster that have been installed recently. Judge, you put down in your written testimony that the first indication that this storm was different came from when I woke up to texts and calls from Kidd, Letha, and Rice. Were you awoken or did you wake up from those texts and calls? And at what time did you wake up?
It's going to be in the 5:36 range, something like that. And I don't remember if they woke me up or I woke up.
You don't remember?
No, I remember looking at my phone.
Okay.
That's what I did.
And you were at the lake? I'm sorry, which lake was that?
Travis?
Travis Lake, okay. You are the emergency management director for the county, correct? With Mr. Kelly, I'm sorry, with Mr. Thomas being the emergency management coordinator?
Yes.
All right, and Mr. Thomas, you mentioned in your written testimony that you were sick and were awoken by your wife after a call from the city of Kerrville's EMC, which is your counterpart for the city of Kerrville. Is that correct?
William Thomas, Kerr County. Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. So between the two of y'all are in charge of the emergency management operations for the county of Kerr County. When was an EOC established for Kerr County?
The EOC was set up in my absence.
By who?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I'm assuming. I think Chief Kidd had gotten here by then.
Yeah, there was a combined one set up later that day, I think,
right,
about
and
6
they
p.m.
moved it. Yeah.
But as far as an EOC, there was one in Kerrville, the city. But Kerr County set up an EOC or not? I don't know.
No, the way I understand it is the county actually set up their EOC in the Youth Event Center, which is a county-owned building. It had been moved to that location. What happened out in Ingram at City West Church was an incident command center, as I understood it. Dub, can you clarify?
Yes, sir. William Thomas, Kerr County. So we operate a joint EOC. We have a joint emergency management plan, Kerrville, Kerr County, City of Ingram. So we had a joint EOC set up.
You had a joint EOC set up, not dissimilar to Kendall County and Bernie when they have an emergency situation.
That's correct.
Okay. Sheriff Letha, did I say your name correctly? I'm sorry if I did not.
Yes, sir, you did.
Yes. You gave the timeline, and that was very good information. It looks like the 3 o'clock hour was, for lack of better terms, when the SHIT hit the fan.
That's 3:30. Yes.
You said in your testimony that when Shoemaker crossing became flooded, it raised some eyebrows in the dispatch center in the KCSO, the Kerr County Sheriff's Office Dispatch Center, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned there were a large number of calls and then 114 radio transmissions in the next kind of time frame, 119 or whatever. So a lot of activity. You mentioned that several times. Was there any activity to call you? Because in your written testimony, there's no, like when you were awake or whenever you were around. So when was that? So
okay, I got my first call at 4:20 is when I came, I say active. My chief deputy contacted me at that time. I had 2 phones going, turned the radio on. I kind of lived to the east part of the county. It's a little bit dry, but I came to the sheriff's office by around 5 a.m. But no, I was notified at 4:20.
Okay. So you were notified, of course, because sheriffs and 911 dispatch, they're awake and alert, and someone's answering the phone. So that's good. Did you notify the sheriff, the judge, or the EMC?
Well, at that time, what I did, I started calling people out. A little bit later, I did contact the judge. I knew my communication supervisor was trying to get a hold of our EMC. But I started calling people out. And what I did immediately, when I knew what was going on, I started calling hands on deck, getting people out in the field. That was my primary, felt like my responsibility.
So it was more focused on rescue and handling the acute situations coming into the 911 call center.
Yes, sir. I was not, to me, it wasn't important to notify the judge at that time. We needed to save lives.
And there's a way to alert the mass through their phones, but there's not a siren system in Kerr County regarding an emergency event, correct?
Yes, sir. There's not.
And you don't have the authority to actually activate that, do you, as a sheriff?
Well, we don't have that alarm system, sir.
Right, but if there was an alarm system, the sheriff doesn't have that authority. It has to be the judge or the mayor.
Sorry, I can't answer that question.
You don't know the answer to that?
No, I don't.
Or can you answer that question, Mr. Thomas?
William Thomas, Kerr County. If we get a flood warning system here with sirens, it will be the sheriff will be able to activate that system.
Yeah,
He'll have the
but
authorization.
in this situation, who can activate, call an evacuation? Can you call one as EMC, or does it have to be the judge or the mayor?
Under Chapter 418 of the Government Code, I believe it's the county judge.
The county judge. Okay, you're not empowered by statute to do so as EMC.
No, sir, but in a life-saving event, we can order people to leave.
Right, but you were sick in bed until that morning when you were woken from your wife.
That's correct.
Okay. Well, there's some. Again, my focus was on the prevention of loss of life, not necessarily the rescues, which have their own problems, and obviously the coordinate, which I actually commend many people on this panel. It's just, and Sheriff, one other question regarding this. I believe one of the other county judges mentioned that their sheriffs had pre-stationed, and I know you have a family history here in Kerr County with an intimate knowledge of the various crossings that are the worst and the likeliest to flood early. Mm-hmm. Did you have any sheriff deputies pre-stationed at those crossings?
No, at that time, no, I didn't.
Can you turn on your mic, sir?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah,
yes.
No, at that time, I did not have deputies. They were out in the field. As soon as we started getting phone calls, they went to those areas.
Right, but you didn't have any pre-stationed at the low water crossings that are the first to flood in Kerr County based on your knowledge and your family history in this county.
Well, no, sir, I didn't. With the prediction of 1 to 3 inches of rain, 5 to 7 in isolated areas, it was just another normal day at that time.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Chair calls Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Chairman. To Senator Schwertner's point, and he has laid this out pretty clearly, but clearly the question would be not to be critical, but to learn from this incident. The 3 guys in Kerr County who were responsible for sounding the alarm were effectively unavailable. Am I hearing that right?
What alarm are you talking about, ma'am?
Well, you said at 3:30, after 3:27, when what's the crossing called?
Schumacher Crossing?
When Schumacher Crossing's not possible, and at 3:30, when there's a call coming in that people are on their roof, you wrote down that's time for all hands on deck.
Correct.
But you didn't wake up till 4:20. The judge is in Lake Travis, and the emergency manager is sick.
Correct, ma'am. At that time, my people were out there doing the job. I got the call at 4:20, but they were doing their job, notifying people and rescuing people.
But you, to your point, this was a weather event nobody had ever seen. It was moving fast, and 50 minutes sure seems like a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we could do it better, because we cannot go back in time and save these children, but knowing now what you know, is there a protocol that needs to be put in place that if the 3 folks who are responsible at this moment are not available for whatever reason, what should we do?
Yes, ma'am. We can look at that real hard. You know what I mean? Well, best thing I can tell you, I got the call at 4:20. Prior to the 4:20, that 50 minutes earlier than that, our people were out there. Our dispatch was calling additional people out. Yes, I can look at maybe they could call me earlier.
But no code red was issued, correct?
No, there was a code red issued, I believe it, to look about 5:01. But there was additional weather alerts being put out that whole time.
But who issues